For how long does the targeted parent just keep hoping and keep trying? I'm like 2.5 years in. I don't know, I question this. How long can I keep going like this? What damage is it doing to me? If my daughter said she wanted to come, what will be left of me? You know, if you become defined by the trauma that you've experienced, there's not much of you left, really. So I've got to, at the same time, like I'm loyal, too much loyal to lots of things in life. I've done this with my business where we'll have one supplier for cherry pickers and I'll stay loyal to them for years, even though the cherry pickers were crap and they weren't up to the grade. And then eventually I did find a different supplier and same again, I just become loyal to it. It's just in my nature, really. It's in my temperament. So I am loyal to a dream that long ago sailed away. And I stay here. I will not leave my post. I'll stay here, hoovering bedrooms that kids aren't living in, mowing the grass where children aren't playing. I'll just keep going. I'm loyal to something. I'm loyal to that dream. But that's coming at a cost to me. With that dream is the trauma I just mentioned, you know? I got to change the way I speak, man, because I think I'm just kind of shouting. Can you hear the deer? It hears like, it's a muntjac deer. There's loads of them. I live out in the countryside. There. The barking deer are pretty loud. They're an invasive species here. They were brought over in the 19th century by a landowner who tasted it while he was in the Far East, and he thought this was really nice, and so he bought it, chucked it all on his land. They don't have a breeding season. They can breed all year round, so they've become a real pest. You know, we get them all over. I had one run over out the front of my house a few years back. Myself and my brother butchered it and filled both our freezers. I can see why the guy brought them back from the Far East. It is best venison I've ever eaten. If that one gets run over there, he's going in the freezer. So how long do we keep as targeted parents? We're in a, you know, there's studies about the effect of this on parents targeted in parental alienation, the effect on us. We're massively more likely to unalive ourselves. When they do tests on the psychological damage to people like us, they find what they would expect to see in victims of torture. Sorry, my dog is here. He's always with me. Victims of torture, somebody who is lost going through the bereavement of a child, prisoners of war. And so, we're in pretty grim company. It's pretty grim. How much longer would you go? And when you haven't seen your kid or kids for a length of time, you build your life around that, you know, and you make changes to things. This room that I am in is my office, but this room was my daughter's bedroom, and I kept it like my daughter's bedroom for years. And when I came to paint it, when I came to change it and I had to throw stuff out, that was one of the most emotional things that I had to do, you know. It was really hard. I kept having to stop, you know, and I've got a 3-bedroom house, and one of the rooms I just wasn't using. I kept the door shut. You know, you see these people where they've lost a child, or, you know, and they've kept their bedroom exactly as it was. You know, they've still got the out-of-date Liverpool football bedspread or whatever. You know, they've still got the school uniform hanging in their wardrobe. The person's been dead for 20 years. They don't, you know what I mean? They would have outgrown it. This is kids' uniforms. So I can see that that person is kind of that. Those parents there are jammed. They are jammed in something. I am jammed in something. I am jammed in a dream, a life that sailed away. And I'm still there. I'm not leaving my post, you know. I'm like one of those Japanese soldiers they find in the jungle still fighting the war, you know. That's what I feel like I am. I am not. When I became a father, it was a serious thing. I had a job, you know. I had a job then, and I loved that job. I came into it and I thought it was great. The last time I was doing anything in terms of the arts, you know, I used to get asked by British Council to go to different places to go and read some poems. And the last one I was in Kuwait, and I was in this hotel room looking out the window, and I'd got a baby at that point, my daughter. She would have been maybe 4 or 5 months. And I sat there and I thought, what am I doing? That was the last time I went. I've been to loads of interesting shitholes. But that was the last one. I thought, what am I doing here? I'm a dad. And in that way, my old self, I sacrificed my old self. I let that drift away. And you can't go back to that. Now, getting older changes that anyway. I think poetry is a young man's game, really. It sounds a bit of a strange thing to say, but I think it is. I think you've got a different way of thinking and feeling as you get older. So I'm got myself trapped in this trauma, and I'm doing the Deleting Dad project, and I'm doing this YouTube channel. In doing that, am I just revisiting this trauma? Is this good for my health? You know, my health is already fucked as it is. Do you know what I mean? And I'm adding to it. I can chart. Like yesterday, I did that walk very little, just a little bit. It was from an MOT place, and I just walked down the road to Greg's, and I sat in there drinking coffee, you know, for an hour or so. That taken it out of me. You know, today I am done in. So I know that the physical aspect that I'm pushing myself with multiple sclerosis, I know that the physical aspect, I pay for that further down the line. But emotionally is the same as well. On the walk and talk, I was talking about parental alienation. I was talking about my experience of that. So, do you know what I mean? There's always this price. Someone's got to pay a price for it. And remember, the more I live in that trauma, the less of myself there is. I don't know who I am anymore, you know? I don't know my old... I don't have anything left of my old self. And I even see myself on these videos and think, Jesus, man, cheer up. It's like everything's eroded. Who I was then has gone, just like that dream sailed away. Who I was sailed away or crumbled away, you know? So I don't know what the future is for me, and what is it that I'm doing, really? What am I doing? What are any of us doing? Is this all a load of shit? I'm trying to record something. I've got my son for the half term, which I'm really looking forward to. So I pick him up tomorrow, end of school tomorrow, and he will be with me for the whole week, and then I take him to school on the Monday after that week. Take him back to school, and that will be it. So it's going to be wonderful. I look forward to it. I never do any of this when I've got my son. So what I'm doing is recording these videos, and then I'm scheduling them. So I stack them up and I schedule them so they'll come out on a Sunday. So it's not impacting my time with my son. That is a protected time for both of us. You know, we get to have that time together. But I'm still trying to be consistent with YouTube. Very slow progress. Really slow progress. I think I don't know. It's a very niche thing, I suppose. I should give myself a little bit of a break. You know, you end up isolated. When did I think about that time when I'm sat in a hotel room in Kuwait, And I think, was I an alienated parent then? You know, when did I become an alienated parent? I say that I was an alienated parent before my daughter was even conceived. It was always going to be that way. It was baked in the cake. That's what happens. You know, and it did. That is what happened, really. Then there'd be times where it'd come back, and then it would go again. You know, there's something called relational aggression. I'm sure you've probably seen it before, but relational aggression, it is it is a domestic abuse, but it's not physical, you know. It is the violence against your reputation in the world. It's to isolate you. It's to badmouth you. You know, in the absence of a physical presence, it is more likely that the female out of a couple would be going down that route. I don't know, we hear everything about men being bad or whatever, you know. I know, well, studies will show you straight. We've got same-sex marriages. So men and women, it's regrettable, any of it shouldn't be happening to anybody, but a wife, a mother, a woman and a man together, you know, they will have a certain level of domestic violence, which, like I say, is always regrettable, and it's something which, you know, is terrible. It shouldn't be happening. Two men together, the lowest level of domestic violence in any coupling. Two women together, the highest. But everything is about, we need to talk about men. We need to talk about men. Don't know. Statistics don't show that. So, but I don't know what I'm on about. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know where I'm going. Nothing's planned out. I don't script anything. I just basically waffle. So I apologize for my waffling. I thank you for your time. You know, it means a lot to me. Please, you know the YouTube jargon. Please subscribe, comment, and I'll see you very soon.